Welcome to the 8th and final part of PABCAB, the tutorial series where I briskly collect all badges in Phoenotopia Awakening. Well, the final official part. I have kept bringing up that I'll put out an extra part dedicated to all the collectibles and a few secrets that are unimportant to the all badges route, but consider it in the works for the time being. Now that I've taken care of everything in Eden and most of the collectibles in Sphere, I'm gonna make my way back to the lake laboratory. First off, in order to give Fran the 4th batch of 10 moonstones. In exchange for the moon crystal. To be used shortly after. Then in the GEO Club, I'm going to interact with this dresser here. Ask about the antique pin and earrings. That way, in exchange one of my antique pins for the earrings. That way I can exchange one of my antique pins for the earrings. And talk to her again to give the other antique pin for a heart ruby. The lucky earrings are really just a bonus. They increase drop rate, which is insignificant to the rest of the route. And finally, I'm going to finish what I started at Last Walls. Or at the last wall. Ruby was kidnapped and she needs her diary to be acquitted. If you talk to her during that quest, she'll say that she took a particular path with the possessed soldiers in that she was sneaking away with. Head west from the first wall, circle around this tree, past this fort from the west, circle around this rock, head northeast, and hug the last wall. She says that they circle around twice, but you don't have to circle around twice, just once is adequate. These researchers here take bundles of 10 moonstones for 50 rin each, and seem to be against Thomas. If you question that, they give you a moonstone along with that exchange. But just once, of course. Now that I've presented the diary to the guards, Ruby has been proven innocent and thus gave me her last heart ruby. Now I'm reporting to Hild to give the 9 dog tags to her in exchange for 15 rin each and a heart ruby for all of them. And now that the Miranda-possessed soldier is back among Wallace's ranks, Wallace gives me an energy gem in return. That was a pretty long-winded and potentially repetitive explanation. But it had to be done. I just couldn't think of how else to phrase what I was saying. Since I'm all done in the Daea region, for now, I'm gonna go ahead and use the moon crystal for what it's for. Head west from the Forgotten Teleporter to get to Aurantia, the Forgotten Forest counterpart of the game. Unlike back then, there's no way to bypass it. This harpy is the only thing standing between you and Aurantia, and you have to give her a moon crystal in order to gain passage. Again, that moon crystal from Fran. This is a pretty treacherous area. It's full of arbors and trolls and harpies. But it also has some neat little skips like this. And this too. That climb was relatively quick by my standards. I'll make sure I have the 5-way ready to deter these stealer birds. When it comes to those guys, there ain't no kill like overkill. Just say that outright. Keep waiting out energy regen. In this hall, notice that the troll is glowing. It's holding a particular kind of key that I'll need 4 of overall for this route. The verdant stone. Verdant stones are to be fitted into slots like these in order to move barricades required for progression. That troll's sling is one of the most annoying attacks in the game, I'll be honest. Climbing up this tower here for another one of the verdant stones. Being held by that glowing harpy over there. Gonna get an early explosive round on her. Deter the stealer birds before I go on. Come on, there. Nice. That was almost clean. Now to go back down. Insert the verdant stone I got into there. Get this verdant stone that's really easy to cheese. Kind of like a certain heart ruby in Dreadlands, in the predecessor. Now I'm gonna reload this room so the enemies aren't so onto me. Because there's a moonstone in this area. I'm gonna need to be really in my element to get to it. Namely with a liftoff like that. Ah, darn. I did that wrong. See, normally it's either full jump javelin or small jump javelin from the other platform. Kinda mixed up my mentalities there. This edifice here contains another verdant stone. The idea here is to get the dragon snares to spew out their little spike ball projectiles and use them to activate the switches. You have to get that one out of the ground by feeding it a bomb. What was that? That was more along the lines of what I wanted. Oh, that works. Good thing it didn't spew out another spike ball, because that would have slowed me down. Also, how on earth did I get eaten? Not that it's such a big deal, because I've already said goodbye to my red hair dye. And I don't need any more hair dye. Like, at all. Side note, I don't know why the barricades close on their own. That's just so unnecessary and annoying. Rather, an unnecessary inconvenience. With the matter of the verdant stones taken care of, I've pretty much completed this area. Except for this triple threat. And the Arbor, Harpy, and Troll. By the way, the hit I took by the Arbor charge, so worth it. That was dodgy. The last enemy you KO drops a moonstone, so be careful how you KO it. Otherwise, potentially the moonstone could go flying off the screen. So that was a suboptimal way of dealing with it. But I'll take it. Past Aurantia lies Terreleum, the hidden village counterpart of this game. First thing I'm gonna do here is sleep in the last bed. For the fluffy pillow convulsor medal, or badge. They're called medals in the Flash game. Again, my brain gets mixed up sometimes. Now I'm gonna purchase the Energy Gem and Heart Ruby, as well as this mysterious bracelet, because by some stretch of logic, the Berserker's Band qualifies as a weapon in regards to the Ending Arsenal badge. Now I'm going to make my way through here. Where I get buffeted by these projectile spamming Arbors. Once you pass a certain point, they just keep fleeing backwards. You can actually move around during the cutscenes. I personally didn't realize that until, like, just recently, actually. Like, I didn't even know about it during my rehearsals. I'm gonna play it safe here. I don't know how I avoided all that. You know, besides right now. That should be the breaking point. No, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. This is the breaking point. I'm just gonna wait out the projectiles, and yeah. Now they fled again. Time to face them head on. They're like the triple threat earlier in that the final one drops a moonstone when defeated. Now that there's only one left, I don't need to be as cautious. Or do I? That's cool. Well, thankfully the moonstone doesn't go flying out of them. But still, their death animation takes ages. Ages. Finally made it to this place called World's End. This is where I'm going to farm for the Fishing Pro medal. I currently have 10 caught, and as with all the other tedious badges, I'm going to be keeping a count on the side. Probably make jump cuts as I see fit. This fish here is glowing, but it only drops a gold dragon scale. Which is only kinda important to this category. It comes into play when I start the recycling. Well, let me go ahead and just free up the inventory space that I'm going to need for this. Well, most of it. Keep a few particular stuff like Mirandas and Nutrimeal stacks. For the big fight of 100%. And for the Light Wings badge. You know the one. In this fishing segment, I pick a few particular spots to fish off of. This is the first of them, being the right side of the boat, or the dinghy. I mean, to say boat is not wrong, but dinghy is more specific. Maybe it could be considered a kayak or a canoe, but I think dinghy is the more proper term. Would you look at all this fish and the gold dragon scale? that tiny fish was gonna swing by the lure, but it was too quick. It has come to my attention that I have not been keeping count. So I had to make a little check there. What was that rambling? You know what? I don't think there's anything to be gained from here. How about the left side of this arch? Let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, 20. That is what I had. Particular kinds of fish here drop particular kinds of fillets. The tiny fish drop regular fish fillets. The orange fish drop gourmet fish fillets. The round fish drop amber fish fillets. And the blue ones drop prime fish fillets. Doggone it. I think that was 2, right? Again, gotta make sure. 22, yeah. I really gotta freaking keep count. Commentary kinda doesn't matter here, because, like... this is easily the most tedious part of this route. Even more tedious than birdie farming. And scarcely does that qualify as tedious. Also, it looks like I was barely out of range of that shark. That's why I had to move up a bit. Really had to do that to me, didn't you? If a stationary shark returns to its place, then it actually doesn't turn around, unfortunately, so you have to cast the line differently in order to get to that fish. Sometimes it's hard to remember that a shark qualifies as a fish, because it's like such a menace compared to all the peaceful creatures in here. That egg there is the lunar egg. The 12th and final lunar artifact in the route. However, I still have some fishing to do. Although these cycles kind of suck. I need to check my total again because I don't know if I've been keeping proper track. $27, that's about what I expected. Fish are obtained in 100%, so fishing novice kind of just happens. Whereas Fishing Pro requires, well, this. To make matters worse, as you catch fish, particular forms of movement trigger a sort of lagging effect. That cannot be rectified until you reboot the software. I want to get that amberfish just sitting there. Man, I need to hydrate. Count check real quick. 31. I don't think it's exactly an issue with focusing on commentary so much as just simply spacing out. Because again, this part is just that tedious. That said, the fishing mechanic is highly praised among the new stuff that this game has to offer, so I can understand why he gets this sort of treatment. And perhaps I've been downplaying the practice too much. Like being a bit harsh on it. Just by using the word tedious. I mean, let's be real here, I am calling it what it is, but there are just some things that need to be said, you know? See if I can get the tiny fish down there. Yep, got him. Now, should I do anything about those guys or just leave them? I'll just leave them. Make sure my count checks out. Save and reload, that way all the fish respawn. You'll notice that there's no longer any glowing fish. Because the gold dragon scalefish respawns every 30 minutes RTA. So clearly, so far, less time has been spent than that. So if you fish everything out on each trip, then it should take like 3.5 trips to satisfy the fishing pro requirement. We now return to Phoenotopia Fishing and Chill. For the record, I did not try to do an ASMR voice there. Now that the lunar egg has been fished from the shark, it drops all manner of fillets except amber. Speaking of which, FYI about fish fillet stack prices. Fish fillets, the standard type, are the least rare. Prime fish fillets come in second. And then amber and gourmet are tied for third. Although in earlier patches, gourmet fish fillets yield less because they don't stack as well as amber. Like back then the stack size was 2, now it's 3. Nice, caught that one just in time. Caught in the traditional sense. Caught like, grabbed the attention of. So when your inventory's full, it's ideal to discard the standard fish fillets first, then the primes where applicable, and from then on it doesn't matter. Whoa, I'm halfway there. trying to think of follow-up lyrics. Oh, I was halfway there. Like, one fish before I thought I just got there. Goes to show how well I've been keeping count. It's just that this farm has that certain something. That just snuffs out any desire to keep my wits about me. Whoa, I'm halfway there. Whoa, fishing with pink hair. How was that? Check. Perhaps I do this too frequently. If it were an actual speedrun scenario, I'd probably do it every 10 times I counted. At the least. Although I've always had this paranoid side of me. Where I prioritize safety over speed. Has happened a vast multitude of times. Finally got that fish's attention. Has happened to me a vast multitude of times. Especially in part 2, I find. Like, how many times did I use the word cautious in that part, for instance? I honestly thought that line was a lost cause. Lag spike though. Count check, 57, yep. Maybe it's a matter of the occasion, like the count of fish fillets lying around on the water's surface, or something to that effect. Doggone. This little bugger. Hopefully that's a good weight. Hopefully. Please, 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 please. Doggone it. How now? Ugh. Really? I was too low that time. Perhaps part of the tedium of this segment is just when I obsess over a particularly pesky fish like this. It's funny how gourmet fish fillets have an equal or lesser yield than amber fish fillets. even though amberfish are significantly easier to fish out than gourmet fish. Okay, I'm going for that one that I just saw. Maybe I would have had the same result if it just kept going from where I first cast it. I think that about covers it. For this round, at least. $62. So at this point, I'm just going to show off that it's been a half hour, so the glowing fish has respawned. I was hoping I could get it real quick, but of course it's not so keen. How did that miss? Ugh. Why'd you have to friggin' turn at the least opportune time? Turn around. Doggone. Try to show this off so I can jump cut real quick. But that little crud just doesn't want to let me. Never mind. Finally got it. Well, no, never mind nothing. It was just as troublesome as I'm saying it was. I thought I was done. And there's a third of a stack of gold dragon scales that I've been keeping handy. Well, a third of a slew. One of them was from the other glowing fish, the other from Mole Caves. So at this point, there's nothing left to demonstrate. Therefore, I'm going to do a hard jump cut until I've obtained until I've just about obtained the Fishing Pro badge. Down to my last 10 fish at this point. Hopefully going to make them quick. And actually keep good count this time, instead of losing track every 5 or fewer fish. Darn. I was hoping I'd get the amberfish in that scenario. But I was expecting otherwise. Now I'm getting the amberfish. Easily. That was just thoroughly lucky. I decided to shift my fishing focus to here in particular because of that shark down there. Hoping I can fish it out one last time. because there's just something so satisfying about fishing at a creature that's more than twice the size of all the others. Amberfish is gonna get it, so now the shark's gonna turn around and stay turned around, making itself harder to catch. Nah, not so much harder to catch. Less power than that. And of course, this little crud has to get in the way. Right, I forgot to draw back because of how the shark has changed. The way it's facing. Yes. Big old shark. Notice it dropped all 3 types of fillets at once. The most satisfying outcome possible. I don't know if I mentioned, but I must sound pretty worn out right now. I mean particularly worn out. Amber. Yeah, okay. That should cover it for the Fishing Pro badge. Yep, perfectly. So now I'm actually gonna close the software from the home menu. That way the lag effect will disappear. Shoutouts to Bravely Default 2, which I think is coming out like next month. That was an oddity of a game that I mostly like for its music. That's another story for another TPO. Now that I'm finally done with the half-hour plus Fishing Pro grind, I can move on to greener pastures. Worth noting that an amberfish fillet should be kept in your inventory for the chef side quest. eventually fly me back to the entrance of Aurantia. And from there, jump off. To that little ledge there. Where I can interact with this dream ore to trade my Wendigo claw for it. The dream ore is the final component. The light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. But I'm not going back to Daea just yet. I'm actually gonna do the final cleanup in Panselo. And actually visit the village. Because all this time, right here in this lookout tower, was a heart ruby that I never bothered to collect. Now to finish business in Thomas's lab. Where did that leaf come from? Starting at Rutea's room, which contains a heart ruby, and the last journal in the room. Interestingly, entry 12 only has one page, so it's like the easiest journal to read. Here I'm going to take further steps to the ending arsenal medal by having the remote bomb, the treble shot, and the berserker's band constructed. With 30 of the remaining moonstones. The neutron lamp is not required. That covers it for this way overdue area. Now, at this point, it's possible that you may have the Overworld Encounters badge already. If not, this is the place to farm for it. I personally only need 6, this being number 2. Three. I don't need that. I mean, it's free count towards the Recycler Pro, so there's that. Even if it's a meager count. Let me double check. 2 more. Last one. And now I have the Overworld Encounters badge. So that for sure takes care of Panselo business. Speaking of taking care of business, I have some more lunar artifacts to turn into Astrid. goblet, lunar egg, lunar key. Not necessarily in any particular order. Just turning them in as I see them. The lunar watch. There, Astrid's collection is complete. So now I get a victory jingle and a heart ruby. Onward to the last day of visit in the route. Well, no, not the last. I mean, yes, but actually no. Gonna show the dream ore to the blacksmith here. And he's gonna use the other dream ore to make the strongest melee weapon in the game, the Night Star. Again, victory jingle. I also had to buy the steel bat and the civilian crossbow to finish up the business for the ending arsenal medal. Another form of business to finish is with this chef. Oh. Turn in the desert squash, then the amber fish fillet after the raw knife krill. Or after the raw knife krill, that's it. Oh, the amber fish fillet you just have to show to him, apparently. Somehow never pieced together in my mind. I'm just so used to having to give up the stuff. But that really works out when it comes to this whole deal of dropping fish into the recycler to count towards the Recycler Pro badge. Oh no, wait, yeah. He did take an amber fish fillet, just not from the stack I was holding, interestingly. That's what's been feeling off all this time. After that, is the reason why I got the spear bomb, and that is the shooting gallery. I'm gonna start with the Gold League. And you'll see how easy the spear bomb makes this, compared to how difficult it could be. Unfortunately, I don't really care about the bystanders. Their effect on the score is negligible, as long as you don't hit too many of them, which I know for a fact that I don't. That there was some good aim, though. Oof. And look at me jinxing myself, as I do. takes care of that. So only the Platinum League is left. Last rehearsal, I ironically found the Platinum League easier than the Gold League. Maybe it's just something about the way it's constructed. And like how the Spear Bomb makes it so easy. Just that little spread effect is so useful for this sort of application. So I say, yet if it were easier, it would have been easier to get a perfect game. I'm just kidding. I say perfect game, but I keep hitting the pedestrians. Or bystanders, rather. They don't really walk, so they don't qualify as pedestrians. They are pedestrian, like the synonym for mundane. But they're not pedestrians like the... like the noun used in one's regular lexicon. Try to find a way to phrase that and also butchered the enunciation. Go me! To count further towards the Recycler Pro, I'm going to take another trip to Terreleum, which thankfully will be facilitated because once you get to Terreleum, Merle, the gatekeeper of Aurantia, will take you straight there. Really? Look at that rubbish. That darn thing is right in my path. Disappear, will ya? Thank you. See, now you have the option to fly straight to Terreleum, which is helpful. On this trip, I'm going to purchase as many gold dragon scales as I can. And use the rest of my Rin to purchase Daea butter. Daea butter not only stacks well, but its recycler yield is actually greater than its price per unit. So per se, it's perfect for the Recycler Pro badge. I don't know where that pay came from. I'm going to backtrack my way out. I don't know how I was able to sprint while I was being carried by Merle. That was weird. Just a weird little bug that neither saves nor wastes any time. Oh gosh. So sloppy. Back to the recycler. This may seem slow, but it's still faster than getting to the Rotish checkpoint recycler. I did time it myself. Also, I'm gonna get the 35 Rin from the Traveling Melodies, because why not? In hindsight, maybe I should have done that before embarking to... Terreleum? That's what I was trying to say. Also, I forgot to recycle my first trio of dragon scales. Not that it matters. Well, it kinda does because I wasn't able to purchase any more dragon scales when I probably could have if I had done the recycling thing. Probably gonna need plenty more at this point. Maybe even more than the Decisive butter will provide. See, full stacks are worth 48. Whereas half a stack was worth 20. So it's like 4 Rin of profit for 3. Now what am I at? 2160. I don't want to travel back to the Terreleum again, so I'm gonna buy a bunch of chocolates. I don't know how many. Just get 10 helpings for now. And I don't care to do the math. Kind of in a manner of emulating a speedrun scenario. Like 15 whatever in too little time. 15 times. Progress now. I'm down 200. Or 190 exactly. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135, 150. 165, 180, that should do it. It's probably a better way to do it. Just like count in patterns as you buy the chocolate. So yeah, since the earliest pack of dragon scales was so far back in my inventory, I just kind of overlooked it. Which is a mistake to keep in mind for the future. And that does it. I don't know why my habit is sometimes to go through the tunnels, even though it's slower than just going back the way I came. Now I just have to get Gold Heart, Gold Moon, and Light Wings. Gold heart I'm gonna obtain from Fran with the 5th batch of 10 moonstones. The reason why I do this so late is because if I did it any earlier, then I might risk triggering a cutscene that is unimportant to this category. For Gold Moon and Light Wings, I'm going back to Pristine City, which is why I said that I completed Eden, but merely took care of business in Sphere, or whatever it was I said. It's been a long time since then. I do not want to go in there. For safety purposes, I do want to make some purchases in here. Three Mirandas. Some Astro Lunches just in case. I found out in rehearsal that just 2 stacks of Nutrimeals is a little low for the enemy that I'm going to be fighting. That's not the right way. On this floor, there's a big old metal crate to push around, but there's also a cheese to get to there. However, now I'm kind of strapped for energy. Not that I wouldn't have been had I done it the intended way. Maybe less? So this is just simple climbing, really. Notice these orbs here. If you destroy them, they make platforms. I prefer to destroy them with mid-air attacks. This is the gatekeeper of the Phalanx. He will not open those barricades unless you have full HP and energy. I highly doubt this will be my first try. Or I highly doubt I'll destroy this thing on the first try. This is the Phalanx. It starts off with a flurry of stars that are obscenely difficult to avoid. My weapon of choice is the double crossbow. Although if I can get close enough, I will bust out the 5-way point blank Cobalt Blaster stuff. That. When I'm above him like that, I use the rocket boot thrusters to do some quick damage. And thanks to the energy regen for some of the Mirandas. energy ain't no thing. It's gonna double down on the X laser. So I arranged the platforms in a particular way. The minimalistic way that I can do my usual strats. Rather just do my thing. Kinda like that. Oh! Ooh, that was dodgy. Thankfully it was at the end of that X phase. By the way, the reason I'm fighting this enemy is for the Light Wings badge. I think I should have mentioned that from the get-go. It also counts exactly 1% towards the completion of the game. Interestingly. Still not as arbitrary as the Flash game's percentage counter. It's gonna do its flaming feather flurry. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna go nom nom nom. Depending on its HP, it will send feathers from one direction, two directions, or all four directions. I actually reduced it to the amount of HP where it's summoning feathers in all four directions. Which is nice. Never had that before in rehearsal. Also, I gotta quick equip a new set of Mirandas. Now the Phalanx is going to drop a hive full of Dardiads. Goodness forbid. Woo! I fell, but at least I didn't take any damage from it. Oh man. That's fine. That's totally fine. This is the only reason I'll ever use split rounds on the double crossbow. Otherwise, I prefer just straightforward attacks like this. Also, the less health the Phalanx has, the more it changes its core. At some point, it changes its core after every attack. It's going to change the battlefield again. I should mention that Whisk PL has quick kill methods involving the whirlwind technique, but it's a pain to get, so I'd rather just not bother with that, and instead just stick with what I know, really. Just using the double crossbow and stocking up on Mirandas, basically. Oh man. Yeah, now it's changing its core every time it attacks. It's doing another flaming feather flurry. Kind of an unofficial fan term I made up for it. Oh gosh. These feathers don't deal much damage per se. The trouble with them is that how few iframes they provide when you get hit by them, so they just combo infinitely, basically. But through some kind of weirdness with damage degradation, you can like reduce the damage to 10 or 7 even. Now it's doing the starfall thing again. Uh-oh, we're out of time. Spam double crossbow. Yeah, my aim is off. FYI, I'm not using analog aiming. Oh, that's it! That's it. Wait. Did I missed the moonstone. Frick. I did get the Lightwings badge, though. What moonstone did I miss? Oh, I know which one. There was one in Panselo that I forgot when I thought I'd taken care of business. So now when you talk to that robot, the gatekeeper, you simply get gratified. I can't believe I frickin'... Wow. What a terrible way to end it off, however. I'm not about to restart the whole series or squander this first try PHALANX fight. So you better believe I am going back for that darn thing. But yeah, the final hit on the PHALANX is the timing for the Lightwings badge. And in terms of the currently established speedrun rules, timing ends on the final badge unraveled. Oh, and this is the cutscene that did I mention? I don't know, but this is the reason I saved that heart ruby for like way later. Fran tries to negotiate with the peacekeepers and it falls through. So now Florid is being treated like a villain or something. The moonstone I missed is in Panselo. May have said that already. But it's the one over here. There! Now I'm gonna unravel everything. Oh. And that's the end. Doggone. Such a rookie mistake with this routing. But seriously, man, first try PHALANX. I honestly at a loss. Although I did pack more safety healing than I expected to need because, you know, rehearsals. In fact, it was the dress rehearsal that enlightened me to the phenomenon that I thought I was prepared, but actually was far from it. And hey, I had plenty of rins, so gotta use it, right? If you got it, flaunt it. Anyone? No one? But man, it's been a wild ride. Come to think of it, when I enter and exit, like, aren't I facing the right way by... No, I'm not. I had a suspicion, but it was incorrect. Maybe for that elevator? Don't know, don't care. Oh. I'm just making my way back to the Phalanx save point in preparation for the extra part. In case I didn't make that clear. Bronze hearts, silver heart, gold heart. Well, I'm gonna do a roll call from top to bottom, left to right. Bronze heart, bronze spirit, bronze moon, silver heart, silver spirit, silver moon, gold heart, gold spirit, gold moon, fishing novice, experienced cook, recycler pro, fishing pro, experienced diner, treasure hunter, quick hits, starting arsenal, ethics, hard hits, ending arsenal, not for profit, overworld encounters, survivalist, dark wings, fluffy pillow connoisseur, hoarder, light wings, box breaker, speedrunner, zero trial, snooper, cat petter, victory. Also have these extra key cards, this broken dog oro, extra crystallis, and the extra safety heals. I really did not expect the Phalanx to go that swimmingly. So if nothing else, at least I have that going for me. Actually, I forgot to mention about the in-game time. This took relatively long compared to my rehearsal run, at which point the route was not quite fully fleshed out, but I managed an in-game time of 9 hours, 24 minutes, and 22 seconds. So about 9:30 would be a really good run, but then 10 hours would be a more reasonable estimate. Just putting that out there. Anyway, look forward to the extra.